There. Your father's house.
I'm just a bastard.
The bastard of Robert of the House Baratheon. First of his name, King of the Andals and the First Men. Why do you think the Gold Cloaks wanted you?
The Realm. Do you know what the Realm is? It's the 1,000 blades of Aegon's enemies. A story we agree to tell each other over and over till we forget that it's a lie.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones Season 8 prediction video. Today I want to talk about everyone's favorite blacksmith, Gendry. As we all know, Gendry went missing from the show for several seasons, but now that they brought him back, what purpose could he possibly serve to the story? I would like to think they brought this character back for a good reason, but what could that be? Before we get started, I just want to give a quick reminder about the new giveaway. The author of A Song of Ice and Fire released a new book about the history of House Targaryen, and that book is called Fire and Blood. I bought one extra copy, that way I could give one away. If you would like to enter for your chance to win a copy of Fire and Blood, just click on the link that is down below. Good luck everyone, now let's get started. Like I said, today I want to talk about Gendry and the few different reasons why I think they may have brought this character back into the main plot of the story. In my opinion, or at least I hope so, I think they kept this character alive for all these years for a very good reason, but why did they bring him back now? Since Gendry has been able to escape death so many times, it makes me think he does have a part to play in the 8th and final season of Game of Thrones. Let's just go over a few of the times that Gendry was actually able to avoid death. Typically, when a character is able to do this over and over again, it's because they are saving him for a specific purpose later on in the story. The crazy thing is, people have been trying to kill Gendry ever since the first season. After Gendry's father, King Robert Baratheon, was killed, Joffrey rounded up all of Robert's bastards in order to have them executed to get them out of the way. Gendry had to flee King's Landing at the end of the first season, otherwise he would have been murdered as well. This was when Arya and Gendry meet for the first time, as they begun their long journey to the Wall with Yoren from the Night's Watch. Thanks to Yoren, he was able to get him out of King's Landing before the City Watch found him, but as we all know, it did not take long for them to find out where Gendry was. At the beginning of the second season, the Gold Cloaks were able to catch up to Yoren and his recruits. At the time, Arya actually thought they were looking for her, but they had no reason to believe Arya would be traveling to the Wall with the Night's Watch. Instead, they were there to get Gendry, but thankfully, Yoren wasn't about to just hand him over to the Gold Cloaks.
We're looking for a boy named Gendry. He carries a bull's head helmet. Anyone turning him over will earn the king's reward. We'll be back with more men.
And I'll be taking your head home along with that bastard boy.
Gendry could not figure out why they would want him so bad, but he knew that it couldn't be for anything good. Yoren was able to buy them some time, but it would not take long for them to return once again. But this time, they were ready to kill whoever stood in their way of capturing King Robert's bastard, Gendry. And sure enough, they did return, but this time they were with Lannister men. This time, they were out for blood, but thanks to Arya's quick wit, she was able to convince them that Lommy was actually Gendry because the bull-headed helmet was laying right next to the dead body. Gendry was able to escape death once again, but this time they were all taken as prisoners to the cursed castle of Harrenhal. Gendry wasn't at Harrenhal for very long before he almost died again. Gendry was picked out of the crowd of prisoners at random. Then he was strapped down and questioned by the man who was known as the Tickler. Just as Gendry was about to get tortured, Tywin Lannister arrived and put a stop to this because he knew the prisoners were better alive than dead. Gendry was immediately put to work as a blacksmith, and as we all know, Arya became Tywin Lannister's cupbearer. Shortly after this was when Jaqen H'ghar offers to repay Arya for helping him escape his own death. Arya was able to save 3 men that were locked inside of the cart, so Jaqen offered to kill any 3 men that she wanted. This led to him helping Arya, Gendry, and Hot Pie escape Harrenhal in the middle of the night. Now they were free at last, but it would not take long before Gendry was almost killed again. As they were making their way through the woods, they run into the Brotherhood Without Banners. After spending some time with them, Gendry decided that he wanted to make weapons for them, and hopefully become a member of the Brotherhood. That was until Melisandre showed up. Melisandre was looking for Gendry because he has King's blood, and this is what Melisandre needed to perform her sacrifice. She wanted to do this in order to help Stannis' cause. So as you can see, before Gendry disappeared from the show, he was constantly escaping death. Someone was actively trying to kill him in every season he appeared in, but luckily he always had someone else looking out for him. Melisandre was able to use some of Gendry's blood, but before she could fully sacrifice him, Davos helped him escape from Dragonstone. After Davos snuck him off the island, we did not see Gendry for many seasons, but why did they bring him back now? When you escape death that many times, it makes me think that you must have a bigger purpose, or else why even bring him back? What would be the point, unless he has a part to play? When you think about it, Gendry is already a very important character because as far as we know, he is the last living character with Baratheon blood.
You told me this was a brotherhood. You told me I could be one of you.
You are more than they can ever be. They are just foot soldiers in the Great War. You will make kings rise and fall.
All of the other Baratheons are dead, which makes Gendry the last of a dying breed. In order to keep House Baratheon from going extinct, they need Gendry alive. This may be one of the reasons why they brought him back. If you look at the main logo for Game of Thrones, it shows the 4 sigils from the 4 major houses in the story. House Stark, House Lannister, House Targaryen, and House Baratheon. Gendry is now the only character left that can represent House Baratheon, which makes me think they will continue to keep that character alive. Even though Gendry did make his return to the show in the 7th season, he could have been killed again when he went out beyond the wall with Jon and company. They could have easily killed Gendry during that mission, but since they kept him alive, I am assuming he is needed for a good reason in the final season. Gendry may be a bastard right now, but I have always thought that he would be legitimized by the end of the show. They could have Jon or Daenerys do this for him at the very end, when and if they finally have full control over Westeros. Since Gendry is the last character with Baratheon blood, and the Baratheons are one of the 4 major houses from the story, Gendry may end up with some lands and titles of his own, assuming he survives the final battles. Obviously, Gendry's greatest asset is his ability to make weapons. He has been working with the hammer ever since he was introduced, and he continued to hone that craft during all the years that he went missing. Since they brought him back right at the time that Jon needs all of the weapons made out of Dragonglass, I think it's safe to assume Gendry will have something to do with that. After all, that was the main reason why Davos went looking for him in the first place. He wanted Gendry to go straight to Winterfell and get started right away. But as we all know, Gendry opted out of that in exchange for something more exciting. Gendry went out beyond the wall with Jon and the other men, but now that they completed that mission, I am guessing that Gendry will now go to Winterfell to serve his main purpose, which is turning all that Dragonglass into weapons. There is also always that outside chance that Gendry may learn how to work with Valyrian Steel as well. Now, in the books, Gendry's mentor, Topho Mott, actually knows how to reforge Valyrian Steel. In the books, he is the one who reforges ice into Widow's Wail and Oathkeeper. Since they decided to have a different character do that in the show, then perhaps Gendry knows nothing about working with that type of metal. But Samwell Tarly did take a bunch of books from the Citadel, not to mention, Bran Stark can always go back in time and look at almost anything that he wants. So if Sam doesn't find the methods in his books, Bran could always go back and watch how Valyrian Steel was made. Then they could tell Gendry what to do. That's one possibility. I mean, why else would you make Gendry a blacksmith unless you wanted him to make some special weapons? Of course, another reason why they may have brought Gendry back was to make some kind of a marriage alliance. Like I said in one of my recent videos, King Robert Baratheon always wanted to join his house with Ned Stark's house. This is something he said to Ned in the very first episode of the show.
We were meant to rule together. If your sister had lived, we'd have been bound by blood. Well, it's not too late. I have a son, you have a daughter. We'll join our houses.
When Robert said that to Ned, he was referring to Sansa and Joffrey getting married, but as we all know, that never happened. However, Robert's other son Gendry could always marry one of the Stark daughters to join their houses. Arya would seem like the natural choice since her and Gendry have already had a very close relationship, but since Arya may never get married, perhaps Sansa and Gendry could get married when and if he arrives at Winterfell and they hit it off. Even if none of these things happen, I still think Gendry could have a very big part to play in the end, during the rebuilding phase. We all know that Jon and Dany both want to make some drastic changes to Westeros. They need to make some changes to the laws and the entire power structure. Even if the Iron Throne is destroyed, and there is no longer one king or queen running the Seven Kingdoms, I imagine there will be at least one character alive from each of the major houses. Together, they may decide on how Westeros will operate from here on out. After the battles with the Night King and Cersei are over, most of Westeros will probably look like a battlefield. Castles will get destroyed, crops frozen over or burnt, and dead bodies littered across all of the kingdoms, among many other things. So, hopefully the right characters are left standing at the end of all of this. That way, spring isn't only a dream. Thankfully, Gendry is nothing like Robert, so if he does end up in a position of power at the end, you don't have to worry about him doing the right thing. I can't really see Gendry drinking or whoring his way into an early grave like his dad did. If characters like Gendry, Sam, Davos, Jon, or Dany are still alive at the end, then I think Westeros would be in good hands, but only time will tell. Let me know why you think they brought Gendry back. What else do you think they will have him do besides making weapons? Put your thoughts down below in the comment section. Anyways, I want to thank everyone for watching the video. I really appreciate that. And I also want to thank everyone on Patreon for supporting the channel. I hope you all have a great day. I will see you again very soon. Bye.